What's good, everybody? It's your boy T54E1 Blitz back at it again with another video. And today we're going to be taking a look at another Tier 9 that has received substantial amounts of changes prior to Update 10.6, being the T54E1. This is the Tier 9 American Tech Tree Medium Tank. That, in the latest update, like I mentioned before, got PBR graphics. The tank looks absolutely amazing now that it has the enhanced graphics. But not only that, it has received a couple bits of changes here and there. If I were to take a look at the armor profile right here, you can see that one of the changes has to have been that its turret armor has received a buff. From its standard 167 millimeters, now upwards of 178. They've also buffed the side of the turret from its original 70, upwards of 96. It also received an acceleration buff from its standard 17.6 horsepower, now up to 20.2, along with its weight being decreased from 54.31 to 47.31. However, some of the other changes, aka the downsides that have occurred within the vehicle, its whole armor got worse from its standard 127 millimeters, now down to 100. It also lost a bit of DPM along with its magazine reload time, increasing from its standard 2,799 DPM, now down to 2,736. However, since I'm running gun rammer on the tank, it increases it upwards of 2,780. And the magazine reload nerfed from 14.94 seconds up to 15.39. Also makes a difference when I'm running gun rammer when it gets it upwards of 15.7 seconds. And here is the official new armor profile of the tank after it has received its visual graphics. And surprisingly enough, I gotta admit, this is a very strange armor profile considering the fact that look at how many troll spots there are on the turret and the hull at the same time. Look at this. You have a full-on hatch on the roof that's pretty much vulnerable to any form of shells, only upwards of 127 millimeters thick. But this is the part that kind of throws me off. Look how many weak spots there are compared to how many troll spots there are on the turret. See, look at this. There's a cheek right here, 164, but then when you go to the right a little bit, it extends it to 222. Then you have, like, a lot more other troll spots, like the gun mantlet that surrounds this portion of the gun, 163. But then this part right here, 224. That's kind of strange. And then parts right here that you can overmatch the roof, upwards of 186, like right below the hatch. But then when you go to the right of it, it's pretty troll, 217 millimeters thick. That is really strange. Upon that, you have two cheeks right here on the upper portion of the upper plate right here, ranging upwards of 250 millimeters thick. The full-on upper plate is going to be an auto penetration, having upwards of 170, and the full-on lower plate upwards of 113. When I load heats, for example, the cheeks do end up opening up, but it's still going to be at a point to where there's still going to be those troll spots that appear on the turret. However, those spots that were originally 256 are now going to be auto penetrations. However, look at this. 765 on this little outer ring right here that surrounds the gun mantlet. 529 right up here. Then the full-on roof right here can't even overmatch that at all. It's really strange. Upon using its 8 degrees of gun depression against standard ammo, more of the cheeks tend to thicken up to where they were auto penetrations on flat ground. So 161 right here. Move a little to the side, 232 millimeters now. And the full-on roof now cannot be overmatched. It's too thick along with that. The gun mantlet's still going to be able to overmatch as it's upwards of 150. There's like so many spots on the tank that are extremely troll. Even loading heats, look at this. This is absolutely crazy to even witness for myself. Like, I don't even know what Wargaming was planning when they were giving this tank its visual graphics along with buffing its turret armor, but this is really weird to look at. Upon that, this is what the side of the vehicle looks like. You have the side of the turret upwards of 120, and then the full-on underside of the turret ring right here, 110 to 170 as well. Then the full-on side right here, upwards of 80, and a very troll engine deck that you can't somewhat overmatch. And then the rear of the vehicle, the back of the turret upwards of 50 millimeters thick, and then the full-on rear upwards of 38. Loading high explosives, T54HEs are going to be able to cut and outmatch the rear of this vehicle. Couple things I do like that kind of relate the T54E1 to its tier 10 counterpart being the T57 Heavy. Of course, you would have the shell reload boost right here that it decreases the amount of shells that are in your magazine to a point to where you can dump them out in 1.8 seconds. Along with that, it also has the improved gunpowder mechanic, which increases your shell velocity by up to 35%. Prior to streaming this tank yesterday, I was able to get 2 fairly solid replays doing upwards of above 3,500 damage. So here we are on Port Bay right here, and let's see what they got in terms of heavies. They have a Kampfpanzer 70, they have a Luva, and a VK16801P. So I go ahead and follow my team as they seem to be all going towards AB side. So what I want to do right in this battle is I find a good spot to plant so I can peck off some of the enemies that try to push up along here. So we're going to continue moving on forward and plant ourselves right behind this house right here and see what tanks we can peck off in the process. Already got a Kampfpanzer moving on upwards right over there. And we can already spot a VK16801 while at it. So I just kind of sit right here in this area and wait for any of the vehicles to continue on moving. As I spot the Luva that's trying to push on up right behind the house, we are able to spot him, get a quick slap into him for 324 damage, and I go ahead and reload the clip. So there we go, we are reloading. See what tanks end up spotting along this spot. Already got that Kampfpanzer still hiding right in behind that house right there. Couple other tanks are moving up within the process. So let's see what else we can spot. Still eyeballing that Kampfpanzer just in case if he decides to poke on out. So we're just kind of waiting right here. We spotted the Emil one right there. Not able to get a slap into him just yet. So in about a couple seconds, that Emil 1 is going to move on up, but we are able to spot that VK's hatch. We're able to get a nice shot into him, and we are able to see the Emil 1 get 1 and 2 shots into him, bringing us past 1,200 damage. So we are reloading our clip once again. We are in a fairly good spot trying to peck off some of these vehicles to the best of our ability. We got the Kampfpanzer poking on out as well. In a couple seconds, he's going to overmatch his hull. Unfortunately, that shell missed, so we're able to get 1 shot into him. Not able to get a second one. He tries to shoot on out on us, but the Luva pokes on out. He gets a solid chunk, but we are able to trade the shell with him for a fairly solid chunk of damage. Alright, so we are reloading our clip once again. Kampfpanzer is going to continue to move on forward now. So, got that Emil 1 spotted once again. Fortunately, our ping factors led to us moving on out in the open, so this guy has a chance to get some shells into us. Not able to pull the 3rd shell out, as I am going to start to reload the clip once again. Because I know that Kampfpanzer is not going to continue to move on forward, as he is continuing to get packed off by some of our vehicles towards the left side of me. Alright, so now what I figured out doing is I see the 704 gets a solid chunk, and the Tortoise is over here alone, and there is a Camping Ho-Re Type 2 off in the back. So what I do is I continue to make my way over towards the Object 704 right here and see if I can get a clear into him before he does any further damage to my Tortoise, which upon the Tortoise's terms, he finishes him off. Now that Ho-Re Type 2 gets a slap into him, so now what I do is I make my way over towards the Ho-Re Type 2, activate my shell reload boost, get another shell into him, and 3 shells into him, bringing us past over 3,300 damage. So we're reloading our clip once again. I'm full health, so I go ahead and tunnel the Ho-Re. Surprisingly enough, he is unfortunate to bounce one of the troll spots that is on our turret. So we are able to get 1 shell into him, getting a nice max roll into him, and 2 shells into him, bringing us upwards of 3,990 damage. Fortunately, I was not able to do any damage past this limit, as this was the maximum amount of damage that I was able to pursue within this battle. So there we go, the Tortoise gets the clear on the WZ-132, and that is a very solid game demonstrating the positive factors about the T54E1. So in this one, we were able to do 3990, block 1,430, kill 1, pulling out a 2nd class, and doing top on the team in the process, pulling out very solid stats. And here is the second battle here on Desert Sands in terms of heavies or mediums, however you want to put it. A T54E1, an M3 Yo. and a T49 in terms of those. So what I do is I make my way towards the left side as I see that my Pergetto 46 isn't responding at the moment. I was kind of just taking a peek back at him, see if he was going to come over to me on the left side of the map. As some of the enemies, as upon my understanding, we're probably going to push on up towards the left side of the map. I keep trying to eyeball him, seeing if he was alive or not. But upon the last second, or the last look, he ends up coming alive. So we don't really see any tanks over towards the left side, but we see the T49 trying to help out some of his other tanks that are trying to pursue our allies over on the right side of the map. So we're like, screw it, we're just going to go in and see if we can peck some of these enemies off. So we do end up seeing the T49 push up over on the base side. So we get a nice shell into him. Not able to get the second as it flies low into his track wheel, but we are able to get the third shell into him, bringing us upwards of 600 damage. So we're reloading our clip once again. We're able to spot the T54E1 out in the open while at it. So we're reloading once again. I am able to activate my shell reload boost as I reload my clip. So we are able to get one shell into him. We are able to get a second and a third shell. 865 damage. There you go. Combined with the improved gunpowder and the shell reload boost, demonstrates that you can dump your shells in a matter of seconds. And holy cow, does it feel nice. Alright, so we're reloading our clip once again. We're able to spot a yo right through the train tracks right here. Unable to get the first shell out, but we are able to get the second shell out. And we are able to get the third shell out, bringing us past the 2,000 damage mark. So we're going to reload our clip once again, get some more shots into the yo to prevent him further from pushing on upwards towards our Pergetto 46. So we are reloading. And we are able to get one shell into the yo. He aims in on us at the last second, able to get a second shell before he can angle his turret to the last moment, and able to get a third shell as he ends up poking his hatch, and the Pergetto 46 finishes him off. So once again, I'm full armor, and I end up going right at this WT, reloading my clip once again, as I do have enough DPM factors to finish him off. So we are able to get one shell, he gets a bounce on me, we're able to get a second shell, and the Pergetto finishes him off, which is barely solid, bringing us upwards of 3,886 damage, and that is another solid victory, demonstrating yet again the positive factors about this tank. 3,886 damage, blocking 580, pulling out a third class, and once again, doing top on the team. I can kind of relate this tank to being of a smaller variation of the T57 Heavy. However, there are a ton of troll spots that are located around the vehicle that you can get occasional bounces here and there. I love the fact, by the way, with the improved gunpowder combined with the shell reload boost, give this tank a fairly solid damage output along with that shell velocity to get shells out for a very rapid amount of time. I love the tank overall now that it got its changes and the PBR graphics look amazing on the vehicle. I just think that, upon my personal opinion, this tank ranks up there to being one of the top performing tier 9 autoloaders in the game. Hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to turn on those bell notifications so you be notified whenever I upload any new videos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.